The following is an Infinity One Productions presentation, keeping it honest, insightful, interactive. Covering weekly fallout from TNA Impact Wrestling Live as seen on Spike TV. You're listening to Impact Showdown Radio with your host, Lee Sanders and Diamond K.
What's up, boys and girls? Black Avenger, a.k.a. the Black Azrael, Lee Sanders. Hey, got the chat room open for y'all right now. Feel free to jump on in there if you like. Post a comment or just kick on back, relax, enjoy the episode. You can also call in just to kick back and listen. You can do so by calling us up at 646-478-3525. Once again, that's 646-478-3525. Don't feel like calling in? Maybe you just want to have some of your thoughts be read on the air. Well, we got a little something for that. Hit us up on Twitter at Infinity1Prod. We also got a new show handle over at the RCWR Show. Follow that for all upcoming show information, special guest that's going to be dropping by, the works. All right, so we had a jam-packed episode of Impact Wrestling live tonight. Always love it when we get Impact Wrestling live. This time around, it came to us from the Arkansas State area. That was the venue for tonight, where it was the Open Fight Night edition. Now, unlike previous Open Fight Nights, where we usually get to see a TNA gut check contestant have a match, we didn't get that this time around. Looks like they're actually holding it off for next week, and for very good reason. I just want to tease you guys with that for the time being. Tonight, it was all about Jeff Hardy, Bully Ray, the future date that these two guys are going to be having. It goes down in 2 weeks, as they will be meeting, where that TNA World Heavyweight title will be on the line, and it's not going to be in any old type of match, as we have found out in the main event match tonight, as Jeff Hardy had challenged one Mr. Anderson. Asshole Anderson, as I like to call him. Damn good match, too. That was probably one of the best Mr. Anderson matches I've seen in TNA that I can recall from recent memory. Now, if you ask me if I'm going to be remembering that match that we just saw tonight in about 3, maybe 6 months, probably not, which is unfortunate. But that was definitely a good match that we had saw Hardy and Mr. Anderson in tonight to close out the show. Hardy picking up the victory right there. I won't say it was a 5-star quality type of match, but keeping in mind we only got about 4 matches tonight, we're really 3 if you're keeping track. We did see a little bit of a knockouts action, but it wasn't really officially a match. Really, we only got about 3 matches tonight, but Hardy, Anderson closing out the show. Nice, great touch. Hardy just going all ballistic, bringing out the ladders, bringing out the chairs, bringing out the tables. He was ready to do a swanton bomb from the top of a ladder and just come crashing down on Mr. Anderson, who was set up nicely on the table, but it didn't go down that way, as we saw Bully Ray come on down quickly, grab Anderson out, and they're just looking on as Bully Ray is just trying to help Anderson to the back, and this seemed to be one of the main themes that kept happening tonight. It seemed like every time aces and eights tried to come out and do a little something, they kept getting challenged, which I thought was freaking brilliant. After all, it is Open Fight Night. We see Jeff Hardy inform Bully Ray that their match that's going to be going down in 2 weeks, as Hulk Hogan had gave Jeff Hardy the choice of adding a stipulation to it. It's going to be, and folks, if you are veteran TNA wrestling fans, this will put a smile on your face. It's the return of Full Metal Mayhem. Ooh, those are some gruesome matches to be in. I can definitely recall Abyss being in just a couple of those. And if you're familiar with the Full Metal Mayhem matches in TNA, you know that this one has some really great potential to be a pretty freaking awesome match. Doesn't get any more hardcore than that. And 2 weeks from now, Jeff Hardy, Bully Ray, getting it on for that TNA title, Full Metal Mayhem. Other action that we saw tonight, and you guys got to bear in mind that tonight's episode of TNA Wrestling, it was really about backstage segments was really the gist of what I was able to gather. Now, when I say backstage segments, you all are probably thinking, well, Hulk Hogan make a lot of appearances? Sting make a lot of appearances? No, it was just a lot of filler-ins is what we had got tonight. And, we did see, to start off the show, Jeff Hardy. We already talked about what happened in the main event match, but we saw Jeff Hardy earlier in the night to start off the show. He came out, was talking about the victory that he had over that Fatal 4-Way match from last week where he had defeated Kurt Angle, Magnus, Samoa Joe to become the number one contender. And from there we saw Bully Ray come on out and challenge him, or not really challenge him, but we saw Bully Ray come out and was crying, pissing, and moaning along with Mr. Anderson Diamond over the fact that it seems like Jeff Hardy has just continued to get opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. Just how many chances can Jeff Hardy get? But then they kind of take somewhat of a well-known fact. It was a little bit of a jab, but it was the truth, Diamond, that Jeff Hardy, well, what can you do? He's one of those big top-selling merchandise pushers. Of course he's going to get a little
Absolutely.
bit of, leadway there. How did you enjoy that main event match between Anderson and Hardy? I don't know if you caught it, but I had said briefly that surprisingly, it was a rather great outing by Anderson, but unfortunately, 3 months from now, we're not going to remember it.
Yeah, that's very true. I've since Anderson has left WWE, I've not been a big fan of him. However, I thought that his performance tonight was decent. Hardy is extremely over.
Yeah, I was paying attention
Hardy
to the
is
crowd.
extremely over.
Yeah, I was paying attention to the crowd tonight. They didn't really seem kind of into Hardy. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
I meant over in the good sense of it. I think he's still a good draw for them. I don't think that TNA utilizes him in the way that they should, but I think that he's still a big deal for the fans.
Let me ask you this, and I definitely want to go in depth about this. And folks, you're gonna be probably saying to yourselves, "Well, get on with more talk of TNA." Trust me, and Diamond, I think you can back me up, buddy. We really didn't get that much tonight. It was basically backstage skits and just really setting up next week. 3 matches.
Yeah.
Not really much to talk about. So we're just going to tease you guys a little bit, but trust us, we're not going to tease you too bad. But let's go in depth for a moment with Bully Ray. Now, you just touched a very good point about Jeff Hardy, and I just wanted to just sit on this for a couple of weeks. Let it set in. Bully Ray, TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Now, we've been hearing a little bit of rumblings, and, Diamond, we got some folks that are sitting up, and they think that Bully Ray, as the TNA champion, it's a laughing joke, that it's pretty freaking pathetic, that the only reason why he's got this title in the first place is because of all the weight that he lost. A lot of people would point out that Bully Ray is nothing more than a 40-plus-year-old guy that couldn't make it big in the WWE. He couldn't make it big in ECW, and that the powers that be, they've selected the wrong guy to represent the TNA company. Do you share those same sentiments? Do you kind of feel the anger and frustration of where some folks are coming from with this, or do you think they are completely just way off with their assessment of Bully Ray being the TNA champion?
I think that anybody that has that feeling is completely off. Bully Ray is one of the best heels in the business right now. I was very disappointed when they turned him face, but it was for the betterment of the storyline. So I definitely agree with it. I think that yes, when he was in WWE, he was not motivated because I didn't think that he had, and there was not upward mobility available for him. So he had to leave. He became motivated for whatever reason, got himself in the best shape of his career, and now he's having a main event run, which has been in the making for quite some time. He earned, anybody that says that he's only in this spot because he got in shape, that's right. That's good. He did get in shape, and if some of the other people got in shape and could talk as good as him, then maybe they would be in his position. I think, and I think that eventually he will return to the WWE.
Yeah. I definitely wanted to touch that subject because I've been hearing it ever since he won at Lockdown, and we've been hearing just, God, man, it's ridiculous. It's like people going on like 20, 30, 40-minute tirades of Bully Ray as the champion. And for you guys that's out there, you love to cut up on the TNA product. That was probably your cup of tea. You probably had a field day just kicking back and listening to these idiots bash the hell out of the promotion and bash the hell out of the champion. Let's just go with the facts right here. Jeff Hardy, he had his turn with the title, okay? And it all came at a very convenient time as it was contract negotiation time. So, nice way to kind of... Yeah, nice way to kind of, come on, we want you to stick around. You're going to do what you got to do to keep a talent like that around. Bully Ray, he came to that same point. It's like, well, okay, look, you sign, we'll definitely give you a run. We'll try you out. We'll see what happens. Come on, you definitely are deserving of it. Bobby Roode, he had his time. Could he have gone any longer? I'm playing it back in my head. Unfortunately, I don't think he could. I think, honestly, if it was left up to me, if I was the booker, I eventually would have had him drop the title to James Storm. I just think that what they had going on was white hot, but at the same time, unfortunately, you got to kind of listen to the fans, and the fans were getting a little tired of seeing Bobby Roode and Storm keep locking it up. They wanted to see these guys kind of take a break from one another, and which is unfortunate because I kind of couldn't help but kind of look at them almost in that caliber of Shawn Michaels, Triple H, best friends turn enemies, and they're just going at it back and forth, and they're always giving us classic matches, and that's exactly what we got with Storm and Roode. But unfortunately, minus Storm, Roode couldn't really go that much further. James Storm, I don't know what it is. We've tried talking about him before. The only thing I'm able to come up with right now is that he's not that hardcore of a merchandise pusher. His name doesn't put asses in the seats. I think that's what's kind of holding him back, unfortunately. Does he have that look? Yeah, hands down. Does he have a way with connecting with the people? Yes, hands down, he does. But unfortunately, he's not a ticket pusher. He's not a merchandise pusher. So that's why we haven't seen him with the title, at least of a longer length yet. I think his time will come, just not right now. Austin Aries, love that guy. Freaking phenomenal. Love him. You can only do but so much with Austin Aries. That's they when you play back his title run, Diamond, I think it's safe to say he reached his course. He couldn't go any further. Right now,
yeah, I mean he did he proved a lot though, and
yeah.
I'll definitely say that he proved a lot. I don't think he came off his title reign, say like Jack Swagger did after his I guess that was the world title reign. So I think that he's definitely in a better position on the card since his title reign, Austin Aries, that is.
Yeah. Yeah. So right now, whether some people like it or not, Bully is the man. He is the way to go right now. And anybody that wants to sit up and take a big old fat crap on Bully Ray and say he's not deserving of it, or try to make the joke that, hey, he doesn't deserve the title, he only got it because he lost. Get all that BS crap out the way. He's one of the best things for that respected company going on right now. Now, just for the sake of the argument, could we take a guy, Diamond, like Bully Ray, put him in WWE, and see him as a WWE or World Heavyweight Champion? Now that, honestly, I don't think so.
Possibly World Heavyweight Champion. Possibly. WWE Champion, I don't know. I would say from what we've seen so far, probably not.
Yeah.
But he could go in there and he could do some good work in the upper mid card, definitely.
Yeah. So I just want to school you guys on that, because I've been seeing some of the stuff that's been put out there, and I must say, anybody that wants to take a crap on Bully Ray, you don't know pro wrestling. You don't appreciate how far along a talent like him has come to want to try to do better inside and outside the ring. And my hats off to the guy. And I'll go on record and I'll say this much even further for those that like to continue to crap on the TNA wrestling product. At least TNA wrestling does not have a problem like a promotion called Extreme Rising. They had to cancel the weekend event that they're going to be doing for WrestleMania, the 4th, the 5th, the 6th of April, because they were not able to garnish enough sales from the tickets. So they had to cancel it. Okay, so now it's really starting to look like Extreme Rising's future is up in the air. These are the same guys that went on Kickstarter, and they tried to see if they could raise $20,000 so they could try to land a TV deal, and they failed miserably. If I'm not mistaken, they were only able to get in about, I believe, $1,500 to maybe $3,000, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, long ways off. Meanwhile, you got guys like Jake the Snake Roberts, who is able to get in about 40,000 of 80,000 for his surgery and all that other good stuff. Scott Hall met his goal.
Scott Hall raised a lot. Yeah,
he met his goal and continues to get money. Scott Hall, what was that? I think the campaign was 80. Last I checked, it was 86. They're probably up to 90,000 by now, and the campaign's not going to be over until the end of the month. So, if not this weekend, no later than next Monday, it'll be over. I mean, that sends a powerful message to me. And, take that for what it's worth. But y'all that want to keep crapping on Bully Ray, TNA, I got 2 words for you. Don't watch, Let's talk about some of the other action that had happened on Impact tonight. We saw Sting and the Hulkster. Man, you just felt so bad for Sting there. I couldn't help but kind of play the Isley Brothers song in the back of my head there as he was talking to Hogan. It's like, hello, it's me. Man, what do you make of that? I mean, it almost got pretty physical there. We see Sting talking to the Hulkster saying, look, man, I know I've tried to apologize twice. I'm going to try it one more time, and if it doesn't work, things are going to get a little bit radioactive over here. And the Hulkster basically telling him, look, it's because of you. There we go. We hear him saying it again. It's because of you. Well, finally, Sting throws it right back in his face like, yeah, I might have put those thoughts out there. I might have said that, but you're the authority figure, Hogan. You're the one that ultimately makes the decision. So why don't you man up and start owning up to some of these decisions that were made? Right. And Hogan finally mans up, but tells Sting, okay, now that I've manned up, you get the hell out of my ring, Sting. Make me and we see the security come out. Hogan's ripping his shirt. It looks like these two guys are about to throw it down. Diamond, I couldn't help but wonder, you think this might be somewhat of a ploy for Sting and crew to maybe kind of get the attention of Aces and Eights to try to see if maybe they could recruit Sting into the club? Because that's how I was kind of looking at this. Like maybe there's some type of a master plan brewing between Sting and Hogan that not everybody else knows about.
It's funny you said that. I had that did not cross my mind. That would be kind of cool, because if it's not that, it's really weird that Hogan would get this upset about what happened with Sting. If you look at the way everything went down, if you're mad at somebody, both people should be mad at Aces and Eights, right? Not bickering amongst each other. So that's a little weird to me. So if it turns out, I'm still not changing what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that Brooke Hogan is with Aces and Eights. But this is an added distraction. If Hogan and Sting have masterminded this, that would truly be a different for me, and different for them too.
Yeah, and I do believe you are definitely on to something. I think we can finally give Diamond a seal of approval, if you will, because yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, Bully Ray actually had sat down with for an interview with the Miami Herald, and of a number of topics, he did tease the possibility of more Aces and Eights members.
Yeah.
So I think you definitely are on to something there. I'm looking very forward to seeing how these next few weeks play out as far as trying to introduce more members. I got to show some love to Joey Ryan. Joey, where were you, man? I'm kicking back. I'm looking at the posts from Impact Wrestling on Facebook. Joey Ryan is one of the people I follow. Joey Ryan said, check me out tonight on Impact Wrestling. Okay, I checked in tonight. I didn't see him. Maybe he's going to be on the pre-taped episode. I know as we are on the air right now, they're shooting another episode. So, mad shout-out to anybody that is at that event right now or happens to know somebody that's at the event. If you're able to get a little taste of what's to come next week, feel free to hit us up. Definitely let us know if Joey Ryan's going to pop up, because the picture that he put out there of himself earlier, he looked like Sonny Crockett's son from Miami Vice. I mean, he had a black shirt, he had it all going on. I'm like, dang, what's going on here? So I thought that was funny. I was like, no Joey Ryan tonight, and I was looking for him. We saw the knockouts. It was brief. I was very ecstatic with what I had saw there. We saw the lovely Taryn Terrell in her rainbow-like gear try to call out.
Hot.
Yeah. I saw a little bit of camel toe. I was quite pleased. And for you guys that don't get that, hey, it's just, don't even ask. It's just
Google it.
Google it, yeah. But yeah, man, I was looking at that. I said, all right, Taryn, all right. So looks like she tried to call out Gail Kim. That didn't play out too well, as Tara had came on out, as apparently Tara had a little bit of unresolved beef, and we saw Tara, Gail Kim get the jump on Taryn. Lovely Knockouts champion Velvet Sky came in for the save. Later on, we would see Taryn just lose all control as she went off on Gail Kim backstage there. This definitely, this is a no-brainer. It looks like probably maybe next week we could possibly see all four of these girls get it on in some tag team action.
Yeah. I think so. So.
Yeah.
I think that one thing that they did tonight, you touched on it earlier, the way that they broke up the show with what I think were pre-taped segments, and and some matches, because you have to keep in mind that live crowd is sitting through 2 weeks worth of shows, and that could be pretty tiring for the crowd. So with the way that they did the show this week, I thought it was pretty smart use of their time. With maybe not holding the crowd there as long as they normally would, in certain circumstances for the 2 weeks of taping.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. I feel bad for them, especially when they got to sit through all that montage, that they got to look at on the Titantron. I shouldn't be talking.
Right.
Because Monday's around the corner. I'm probably going to be sitting through about 5 hours of stuff.
I don't think so. It's not going to be that bad.
I know how to.
So what do we have? I mean, you got a 3-hour Raw, and I'm trying to think. Have I been to a Raw since it's been 3 hours? And I think it was a SmackDown that I went to. But so you got a 3-hour Raw. Mm-hmm. So basically, you're going to have some what is it? Superstars tapings, maybe like 2 matches of Superstars. I think you're going to probably have like maybe 4 hours of wrestling.
Oh, okay. I can live with that then. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not all that bad. All right. I can live with that. That's good. We saw the return of AJ Styles there briefly, Diamond, as James Storm tried to call him out. And AJ, he pulled a little bit of a Shield entrance. As he's way up in the rafters, James Storm's offers a chance to him to come on down and have a beer, talk about it, or come on down and fight. And before we can even see AJ give an answer, keep in mind, AJ doesn't even talk again, folks. We see AJ come on out and jump Storm. And it looks like the gears are finally in motion here to what we had noticed several weeks back with AJ talking to a prospect down in his home state of, Georgia there. How you enjoying the continued silent AJ Styles, as now they're really giving us the strong hints that he's possibly joined Aces and Eights?
Well, I mean, I don't think he's going to join Aces and Eights. I think pretty soon he's going to be hanging from the rafters. He's going to probably paint his face. He's going to probably get a baseball bat. So,
Oh, Lord. Sting, eat your heart out.
He's doing his best Sting impersonation, and James Storm is going to be doing his best Lex Luger impersonation.
Speaking of the face paint and the bat and all that, I love that subtle touch that Matt Morgan had gave Sting as security escorted him off the premises, calling him another Hulk Hogan mistake, and Sting just feeling that sting briefly, literally, and he just walked on. I'm like, nah, man, go on back in and get your hands on Big Man, but I guess Big Man was a little bit too much for him. Maybe next week he might do a little something. Next week, we saw some very interesting developments as far as the X Division goes. Of course, they've introduced a new weight class, and on top of that, we see that Sanjay Dutt is going to be in action again, but first, he must take on the winner of the match between a returning Mason Andrews. And for you guys that don't quite remember him, remember a couple of months back, we were talking about him on the RCWR show. We mentioned how he got in trouble for some derogatory tweets that he had put out about homosexuals. And one too many people, they took great offense to it, and they actually complained to several of the promotions that Andrews worked for, and WWE was one of them. In case you guys don't remember, he was in the Kane and Daniel Bryan skits there. I believe his name was Kumar in the group therapy sessions, whatever his name was, but he was in those.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and once WWE kind of got wind of what went down, they said that they have distanced themselves from him. They don't want to have anything else to do with him. So very surprised that TNA is working with him again, knowing the checkered history there. But in either case, That's not the name I want you guys to be focusing on. The name I want you guys to be focusing on is the opponent that he's going to be taking on next week, making his return after a 4-year hiatus from the promotion is the one and only Maple Leaf Muscle, Petey Williams, the Canadian Destroyer. Diamond, your thoughts on the return of Petey Williams?
Very, very good to see him. Always was a fan of his work. So yeah, and it was a good to see him.
Yes, I love Petey Williams. I still remember the little brush off that he had with Big Papa Pump, Scott Steiner.
Yeah.
I thought that was freaking hilarious. I still remember when he had joined Planet Jarrett. I thought that was freaking awesome. I mean, the guy has just been all over the place. Of course, I can't talk about Petey Williams without mentioning Team Canada. I mean, that's really where it all started. I mean, Team Canada, that was, before Eric Young started doing this crazy stuff you see him doing now. I mean, it was him and Eric Young and Chris Sabin, Bobby Roode, Scott D'Amore. I miss that guy too. He was good mouthpiece for Team Canada back in the day. That was some good times to be watching TNA wrestling, man. What's his name? Abyss had that freaking mouthpiece. I can't think of his name right now. Creepy looking manager, looked like a vampire.
Right.
Long black hair.
His name is eludes me right now.
It's gonna come to me when I least expect it. Watch, I'm probably gonna be ending up doing something else. Girl's probably gonna be talking to me, telling me about her day.
Mitchell.
Yes, Scott
Mitchell. Yeah, James Mitchell.
Mitchell. There he is. James
Mitchell. Yeah.
That was a bad dude, man. He used to come out with his little pimped out suits, red hot suits at that, with badass little gothic jewelry on and his little pimp cane. I used to love seeing him come out telling the Monster Abyss, ordering him around and all that. That was some good times, man. Especially Petey Williams in the X Division tournament and the World Cup tournaments. This is a great piece of talent, and I would hope that this time around maybe they could try to work out some type of a deal with him where he could stay, because a lot of people, they want to talk about Austin Aries. I can't help but say no. Rewind it back. It all started with Petey Williams. That's the original Austin Aries. Especially with that damn finisher. I can remember the TNA Awards. They stopped doing them past couple of years now. But remember the TNA Awards? They used to give out the award for the best finisher.
Yep.
Yeah, and it always used to come down to the Styles Clash and the Canadian Destroyer, and I think the Styles Clash would edge out the Canadian Destroyer more.
Yeah, Styles Clash was. I mean, he's a good wrestler, and he's definitely been missed. He's still been working on the Indies, and is definitely good to see him back. Not sure how long he will be back, but good to see him back.
Yeah, he's been all over. I mean, he spent a year down in Ring of Honor. He did a little something with Lucha Libre USA. He did some stuff with All Japan, Border City Wrestling. The guy's been around. He's definitely welcomed. We actually had ended up seeing a tag match between Aces and Eights, Garrett Bischoff, Wes Briscoe, Doc. They had defeated the team of Kurt Angle, James Storm, Eric Young. Was I the only one that thought Kurt Angle looked pretty damn retro there with that costume on? I mean, kind of almost looked like a WWE debut there.
It was very retro. But I mean, it looked good, and Eric Young looked pretty good too. I was, when he does all of his comedy, Santino-like character that he's been doing the last couple of years, you forget how good he really is. And he's definitely good. I really think it's time for him to get into another role in TNA. I think he's misused right now.
What would you propose? Like a more serious role?
A more of a serious role. I would. Yeah, a serious role. Give him a serious run. I would shave the beard, and I would get him a different look, and I would have him go after a serious singles run. I think he'd be a hell of a babyface.
Yeah, the fans do love him. They do love him. I mean, he's had their support for years. I mean, from the Don't Fire Eric. I mean, that turned off into a freaking gimmick itself. I remember how he used to come out wearing inspired tights saying "Don't fire Eli." Yeah. Oh my God, yeah, some good stuff right there. I'm just having like good flashbacks, man. Now I'm thinking Don West and all retro. It was the vibe I was getting when I was checking out tonight's episode, and it definitely helped seeing Sanjay Dutt, Petey Williams. What's your thoughts on this TNA gut check that's going to be going down? It looks like it's going to be Adam Pearce, who is, if I'm not mistaken, a Ring of Honor alumni. He's going to be taking on, starts with an M, Muna? Yeah, I'm kind of, I don't want to say I don't have any thought. I'm just neutral on it. I'm just kind of reserved for the. I'm just reserved. I didn't think they were going to bring it back. Actually, so we'll have to see how it goes. The gut check. I mean, to me, they usually get it wrong, and I think the biggest problem is we don't see enough contestants from it actually wrestle. Not enough. That's a huge freaking name, and I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not going to even try to put on a little front. The guy that he's going to be taking on next week on Impact Wrestling, I have no idea about. And Magno is his name, and that's probably going to upset some people. They're going to be like, "Oh my God, you cover wrestling, you don't know Magno?" Hey, I'll go on record. I don't know anything about Magno, but I'll tell you what, this weekend I will be more than happy to check out some old wrestling footage. And if you got some stuff you want me to check out of him, the Twitter handles. Hit me up. Hit Diamond K up. We'll definitely watch the footage. Adam Pearce. That's a name I've been hearing about and I've been reading about, so I'm definitely familiar with his work. I'm familiar with his time in the NWA. I'm familiar with his time with Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, company co-founded by Joey Ryan. I know he was ranked number 44 on PWI's 500 Best Single Wrestlers in 2008, so I know enough about the guy, and I think this should be a freaking no-brainer that Adam Pearce should be able to win this. But then again, we don't really know how they're going to operate with gut check. But I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, it's no telling.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that match. I mean, it should definitely be a good one. I just want to kick back and get blown away, and I think that's exactly what we're going to get. I definitely feel that fans are going to be in for a treat. I think that's probably going to be one of the best matches that a lot of folks are going to be talking about of the night next week.
Definitely.
Let's see.
I like to see some good action.
Yeah, exactly. Because tonight, and again, it was all about backstage segments and all that. I mean, there really wasn't anything that kind of jumped out there match-wise, and I almost completely forgot about this. For the upteenth time, we saw Chavo and Hernandez in a tag match against Daniels and Kazarian, a.k.a. Bad Influence. God, so they're number one contenders.
I thought we saw the last of them already.
Oh, my God, man. This is ridiculous. It's like, why do we keep getting Chavo and Hernandez shoved down our throats? It's like, can we, you got guys like Joey Ryan that's just sitting on the sidelines, like waiting for something to do. He coughed up his ownership in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. He stopped going around doing all these independent things to try to work out for TNA, and he's being benched. You know, I mean, I'm sorry, anytime you got a guy like Joey Ryan that's sitting up on Facebook saying, book me, email me at blah, blah, blah for your events, you know, I take that as a serious sign that things aren't exactly looking too good for his time in TNA. And I'm sorry, but if I'm a wrestler that's coughed all that up and I'm told I'm going to get a serious push and all that, and then, you know, you fast forward to now and it's like, okay, what's going on? Meanwhile, you got guys like Chavo and Hernandez that just keep, you know, it's now that upsets me. You know, I can let the bully, the bully race stuff, that doesn't faze me. But to see guys like Chavo and Hernandez, I can't really cut up on Hernandez too much. But it's Chavo. It's like, okay, this guy, he's been there, he's done that. My freaking God, man, he's been in the shadow of Eddie Guerrero for so freaking long. Am I finally starting to see shades of him just trying to come out more and be his own man since he's been with TNA? I see a little bit, but it's not enough to make me go, oh, wow, you know, yay, Chavo. You know, it's nothing like that, you know. I'm tired of Chavo. I never thought I'd say this, but I'm tired of Chavo. I remember when I first saw the vignettes of Chavo, I'm like, okay, cool, Chavo's coming to TNA. And this is the way I was picturing him coming to TNA. He's going to help put the younger guys over. He's going to bring his experience in the ring. He's going to bring what he's learned from Eddie and all the other Guerreros. He's going to bring all those generations to TNA, get these young guys over. I'm not even seeing that, okay? Now, if you want to rip on somebody, boys and girls, you rip on Chavo Guerrero. You know, now some of you might say, would he be getting this push if it wasn't for Bosley helping out with his hair? Probably not, you know, quite honestly. But, you know, why fight it? There's nothing wrong with having, you know, leftovers. I say go commando. Just go bald, and, you know, ladies love the bald look, but, you know, he wanted to try to save his hair and, you know, whatever. But I'm tired of Chavo. He does nothing for me. I don't get excited. I would be more excited to see Hernandez turn on Chavo and set up some type of...
I was just getting ready to say that. If you think that this is bad, wait till the feud between Chavo and Hernandez comes 5 or 6 months from now.
Well, it needs to come a little bit sooner than that because, my God, man, you know, oh, gee, after the tag match is over and everything and Daniels and Kazarian, you know, they've won or whatever, it's like, oh, gee, I wonder who they're going to face next week, you know? Yeah, I mean, like, you know, even a frickin' blind Stevie Wonder, you know, would be able to tell that it's going to be frickin' Chavo and Hernandez. I mean, my God, I'm so freaking irritated with these guys. It's like, that's the frustrating part. And we've seen all the newest acquisitions that's come into TNA, you know, over the gut check, and it's like, what are you guys waiting for? It's 2013, you know? It's like, why are you going backwards, you know? You're even downplaying the awesome combination of Bobby Roode and Austin Aries, who were not even on this episode tonight. I'm praying that, you know, we get them
next week.
Yeah, I'm hoping we get them next week. That would be freaking awesome, man. I want to go in depth and pick your brain on this. I thought this was very interesting. Now, Jeff Jarrett, he recently did a interview. It was a brief one. It was about 11 minutes long, a couple of weeks back during lockdown. And it was Mike Johnson of, I think, PW Insider, who talked with Jarrett. And one of the things that was brought up was, are we going to see it back in TNA? And Jarrett said, you know, at this point, you know, he's not really sure what's going on. And the next question that was asked was, well, are you going to be watching Lockdown this weekend? And to that he said he's just going to be kicking back with his girls, and they're just going to be watching the fireworks. So to basically, no, he's not going to be watching Lockdown.
No.
All right?
Right.
And I thought this was very interesting. Now, we're hearing rumblings, and I think this is about 99% accurate, just based off what we've been seeing so far. But we'll approach it from a couple of different angles. We're hearing the rumblings that Eric Bischoff, Bruce Pritchard, they don't want to have anything to do with Jeff Jarrett. They don't want him back in TNA wrestling. And keep in mind, Jeff Jarrett, he was out in India doing his thing with Ringka King. And if you guys have watched a little bit of that, you know it had definitely had a little bit of potential. But after about 22 episodes, that wrapped up like last year, basically. I think it was like April last year it wrapped up or something like that. So Jeff Jarrett, he really hasn't been doing too much of anything. He was trying to negotiate a deal for a show, I think, on the Speed Channel. That didn't really go nowhere. So Jeff Jarrett's pretty much been in limbo. And, Diamond, I want to get your thoughts on this, man. To have the co-founder of TNA Wrestling, it just what appears to just keep getting dicked, you know, week in, week out, month in, year out, of a promotion that he helped found. I still can't help but go back and think about when TNA first announced its inductee. I'm thinking, okay, it's going to be the Jarretts. You're going to have father and son be your first inductees, because without them, there would be no TNA wrestling. On the contrary, it's Sting, and though I understand why Sting got the Hall of Fame, you know, really it should have been a tie. It should have been the Jarretts and Sting both going into the first Hall of Fame, but it didn't go that way. We even polled you guys, if you remember, months back. We asked you guys, you know, should Jeff Jarrett have gone into the Hall of Fame? And it was almost dead even, but the edge went in favor of Jarrett, that he should have went in before Sting. What's your take on this? Do you think Jarrett is, do you think that these guys just don't like Jarrett, or maybe there's something going on here, like maybe possibly an aces and eights payoff, if we can even fathom?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what's going on. It could just be just mismanagement, something like that. I don't really know if it's that deep.
Well, I know there was problems there between the Jarretts and Kurt Angle, you know, for obvious reasons, and you know they needed to separate that. But you know, we've heard from numerous interviews that, you know, they don't exactly go to each other's houses for barbecue, but when it comes to business, performing on TV, that is, they can get together. They know how to work things out. So, you know, I can't help but wonder, you know, just for the sake of the argument, no Jeff Jarrett and aces and eights.
Yes.
Will we ever see a day where Jeff Jarrett comes back to TNA?
Yes, I think so. And I think it's been enough time. I think he's really missed. I could at least see him for 2 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, very unfortunate, because these guys, they didn't even want him to be on the one-night-only pay-per-view that I believe is going to be available very soon. So before we go off the air, I'll share with you the date for when it's going to be coming up, but they didn't even want to utilize him for that. It was like, nope, don't want to have anything to do with him. Just, you know, forget about it. And, you know, I'm hoping that there's something going on here that, you know, we just don't know about, because if not, I said it months ago, and I'll say it again, I just think that it's just so freaking wrong that he continues to be shafted the way that he's shafted. You know, it's unfortunate. It kind of reminds me of a episode. I don't know if you watched the channel ID, but there's this show called The Wheel, and I had watched an episode on rock guitarist, blues legend Robert Johnson. You remember him?
No.
That's the guy that so the legends have it. He sold his soul to the devil to be able to play the guitar. And there was like one album that he had did, and Columbia Records didn't come across this album until like the 1960s. They released it, didn't really make that much of a hit. But then there was this guy that would come across Johnson's material in the 70s.
Right.
And once he came across the material, he said to himself, you know, this is a freaking masterpiece. Let me try to seek out the family. If I can find a family, you know, I can make millions of dollars with their help from this. So basically, long story short, he started making this project of revitalizing Robert Johnson's one-off album. He made it his pet project, and he reached out to surviving family members, asked them for photographs, all that, all in the good name of a repackage. And this album would go on to sell like about, I think, like 20 million copies, and, you know, a lot of artists have been...
Impressive. Very impressive.
Yeah, a lot of artists were influenced by this, you know, like Bob Dylan, Eric Clapton. But see, this is why I'm comparing it to Jeff Jarrett. All the hard work that was laid out, and then there's this weird little loophole of, well, wait a minute, yeah, you may have done all this work, but you didn't have permission to do X, Y, Z. So, long story short, that guy that ended up trying to revitalize it, you know, he got shafted for all those years he put into it. Can't help but kind of put Jeff Jarrett in that same limelight. He's like, you know, him and his dad, you know, they both spent hours, their own resources, financial resources at that, their own connections, trying to get TNA up where it is, and to just continue to see a void that so needs Jarrett. It's like,
Definitely.
I don't want to see him as a champion. I'm just saying what he can do to just help the company overall. You know, and we did see a little of that before the Hogan and Bischoff era came in. You know, it would definitely be nice to get Jarrett back. I'm hoping at least before this calendar year is out, maybe we can get a cameo from him. You think?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And looking forward to the potential of that. They have a lot of cards that they can play. You know, stuff that they've set on the shelf or things that they haven't just used. And they're in a position now to potentially do those things. I really wanted to touch on the fact of how good the crowd looks and the camera shots that they've chosen to use. It was really impressive. After the main event when Bully was, you know, in the aisle or you know, going back towards the crowd, and they were getting ready to leave, and there were some of the shots that they chose that were just, you know, just looked like a lot of people. And it was just really good shots, and this overall helps TNA with just that excitement level.
Yeah, it really does. It really does. And I like the fact that it looks like when you see the crowd, I like the fact that it's almost like the same amount that we saw at Lockdown, that we saw at Chicago. Yeah. There's consistency. I mean, my God, I'm loving it. And anybody that wants to kick back and say TNA is dead, baby, you are wrong by a long shot. Let me tell you that, because TNA looks like it is alive and kicking. And, you know, to that I say anybody that, you know, ever thought that the company was dead, you know, they have no idea what it's like to be trying to start your own little business. And, you know, it could be as simple as trying to do a daggone radio show, trying to, you know, take it from the ground up and get it up and running and try to get the word spread out there. And you hear naysayers, you know, you can't do this, or, you know, you can't do that. And, you know, there's always going to be those naysayers in general. And this is just for life in general. I've learned it the hard way a few times. You just got those naysayers that, honestly, they just won't like the fact that you're good at something, that you're on the right path, and they want to try to hold you down. And usually when I hear people like that want to talk about the product of TNA and all that, it's like it goes in one ear and out the other, because it's like, you know what, if you're a real TNA fan, You've been with the company from the get-go. You've stuck with them when they were just airing 2-hour specials on pay-per-view, and then it went to FSN, and then it went on over to Spike, and to see it become what it's become today. It's taken them a while. They still got a long ways to go, and this isn't the suck up the TNA hour. We aren't endorsed by them. I've gone on record many times, and I've said that they've got a long ways to go. But the improvements that they've been making, late 2012 Diamond, going into this year, and we don't even have 6 months in the books yet. I mean, they just continue to literally make an impact.
literally, and that's good. Do you think at all that they showed up on Vince's radar, Vince's personal radar?
I think they've showed up big time. There's so many elements that we see that WWE has been taking from Impact Wrestling. Whether it's a storyline, a gimmick, or just the way that they do they film with their lenses. The little things, the way that they do their narration. Now when you turn on Raw or SmackDown, now we get a little recap and we get a little narrator talking over it. All those little things that just add up, that let you know that, okay, they are paying attention to the TNA product. And I mean, my God, anytime you got a promotion that is kicking back saying, oh my God, TNA is going where? When? What day? Okay, well, we need to try to go to this city, and we need to try to buy up enough dates so they don't come over here. Those are our fans. It's nice to kind of see the whole territory thing kind of kick back in there like the good old days. I'm loving that right now. I really am. And, before we go off the air, it's something that we rarely do, because I like to just kick back and just, talk with Diamond. But I don't mind taking a call. I see we got one person. He's eager to get on the air, and I think it's one of our long-time listeners. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it's Mackenzie. If I am correct, my friend, you're on the air, man. How you been?
I'm doing all right.
All right. What was your question, buddy?
I think I accidentally called in, but and I'm asking a question.
No, go ahead. It's all right.
With Bully Ray now pretty much winning all the matches now, is this pretty much a good start to make up for the losing streak from the beginning?
Good question, Diamond. That's you.
I couldn't exactly hear what he said.
Mackenzie, repeat that one more time.
I said, since Aces and Eights are now starting to win the matches, is this a pretty good way to start off making up to them since they've been losing a lot?
You hearing that?
You mean since Aces and Eights are starting to win the matches, is this a good time for? Well, I think that they're just shifting gears in the story. Aces and Eights, I think, have to start winning, and then we need to start seeing some kinks in the armor, and eventually, they're going to turn on someone. Someone's going to break off and come back with TNA. So they have to continue to look invincible and start winning some matches, definitely, and that's where we're at right now. So I mean, it's looking. They're looking okay now. Doc is incredibly tall when you really see him next to some of the other guys.
That's the new Big Show. Shit, that's the Big Show. That's the Big Show if he keeps his weight under control and eats right, and that's your Big Show right there. That is a tall boy, man. I mean, this was expected. I mean, when you think about it, Aces and Eights, they could have afforded to take several losses, so as long as Bully Ray wasn't tied to them. now that Bully Ray is revealed to be the president of Aces and Eights, and you have him be the TNA champion on top of that, they have to look more dominant. And I think that with the revelation that Bully Ray is part of Aces and Eights, it's definitely given new life to that stable, because it really did look as if they were on their last legs, just dragging it out. Some people, we expected that Bully Ray was behind this the whole time, but just there's that doubt that maybe they weren't going to go that way. But now that they have gone that way, it's really helped out the stable tremendously, and I wouldn't expect them to be on a winning streak like every single time you see these guys. They're going to lose where it counts the most, but it's going to be done in a way where at the end of the day, Bully Ray is still going to look strong. Point being, look at the Mayhem match that we got coming up in 2 weeks between him, Jeff Hardy. I expect that daggone thing to be very physical, very bloody, all in a good name of making Bully Ray come out on top. Now, think about this for a second, Diamond, and everybody else. Normally, we've seen Bully Ray in these type of matches, and he's pretty damn good. But I don't think it's going to be one of those type of matches where it's just going to be Jeff Hardy, Bully Ray one-on-one. I think this time around we're going to see his brothers play a very serious role in this match, which may suck for some people, but I mean, come on, he's the bad guy right now. You got to boo him. So all in the name of making them look tough and making Aces and Eights look tough, but they'll lose where it counts the most.
I agree, and they should. In the end, wrestling is about heels and faces, and good triumphing over evil. That's what wrestling is at its core.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better. Yeah, that's it at its core, exactly. I think that's it. I'm trying to think if there's any, off the top of my head at that, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that happened TNA Wrestling News headline-wise, and there's really not that much that's out there. I know Impact Wrestling, they're getting ready to go to Indiana, Pennsylvania on the 25th. They recently did a press conference for that, and there's also a rumor going around that there's the cost to tape Impact Wrestling on the road is somewhere between $600,000 to $700,000 per taping. At the current rate of taping 26 times a year, TNA is set back around $17 million in costs. Now, here's a very interesting question, and I'm actually going to try to see if I can do some homework on this weekend. How much is the company worth? Because that's a whole lot of money to be putting out there for the tapings. And Diamond, I got to give you credit for what you had said last week or the week before. You said, some of the wrestlers, they may not like the fact that they have to do a bonus taping and they're not getting paid for it, but they're paying the costs, the company itself, obviously. Those are some huge numbers if that's what they're paying per episode.
Absolutely, and that sounds about right. If I had to estimate, I would have said about 500,000. But the fact of the matter is that in order for them to move forward, they have to take this step, and in order for them to do that and for it to be successful, the wrestlers, this can't be WCW. WCW, where the guys are just getting over, getting paid to sit home, and guys are being flown in that don't work, and all that kind of stuff. This company cannot operate in that manner, and for them to do 2 live shows a month, live on Spike a month, and then tape the other one. I think that's an excellent idea. They've cut back the pay-per-views. That I think is a good idea. That's an added cost, and in the long run, these TV rights fees and the live gates, and hopefully merchandise will pick up, and the guys will be able to, get better bookings and all these things, and it will work out in the long haul. But if they just want the extra, fee for working, I can't see how that's going to help them. They need to get rid of some of these bigger contracts of people that are not doing anything productive, RVD, and a couple of others, and just do it like that. And if people don't like it, then bring in somebody else.
Now, that's one name I haven't been following up on. What have you been hearing at your end? Obviously, he's been missed from Impact Wrestling programming again. I believe this marks like the third week now. I don't think we've seen him since a little bit before the lockdown pay-per-view. What's going on? Is he still in negotiations, or?
Last I heard, yeah, but I hope that I hope we've seen the last of him as it relates, as it relates there. I believe that his contract, if it hasn't expired, that it is, it is very soon to expire. But today, yeah, so his contract has expired. So I mean, RVD and WWE, I don't think we're going to see that. I mean, if he was in better shape, quite possibly he could be useful. But I mean, especially WWE going into this post-WrestleMania time, if RVD was a different person, that would be a great thing. But I just don't see them being that interested.
Nah, I don't either. I said it last week. I'm sticking to it. Extreme Rising, although that looks like it's getting ready to sink. Maybe he can get some love over at Ring of Honor Wrestling. Matt Hardy seems to be doing pretty well over there, joining Scum and all that. Yeah. Happy belated birthday to SoCal Val. She had her birthday yesterday, and definitely want to show her some love. And in case you might not be aware, I know Eric Young, he had recently re-signed a new deal with TNA, so it looks like he's going to be sticking around for another year. So we can rest on that we definitely haven't seen the last of him. And that's going to do it, boys and girls. So next week we got a pretty good, awesome episode of Impact Showdown Radio. We're going to see the fallout from TNA Gut Check, as we're going to see Adam Pearce take on Magno. We're also going to see Petey Williams, the return of the Maple Leaf Muscle, as he's going to be taking on Andrew Mason. Winner of that is going to be taking on Sanjay Dutt. Winner from that will be taking on the X Division champion, Kenny. I was about to say Kenny King, Kenny Kingston, Kenny King, KK. As we be on the safe side, KK, that's what I'm going to start calling from now on. And we also got AJ Styles. He'll probably be in the house. Wonder if he's going to break his silence next week. Who knows, but we should be able to see that. And, looks like it's going to be a pretty good episode next week. Programming note, this Saturday on the weekend edition, we got a very special guest that's going to be stopping by. It's a very cool guest at that. I was checking out some of her music earlier today, and I really love her stuff. Tanadra is going to be joining us. If you're into hard rock, progressive rock, metal, you definitely want to check out this interview I'll be doing with her at 2 p.m. Eastern. We also got some kick-ass reviews for you guys. I got an honest review for Justin Timberlake's new album, The 2020 Experience. I'll give you the final verdict on that one. We're also going to go into the vault and pull out a goodie. I'll be reviewing the Led Zeppelin Celebration Day live concert CD. Came out not too long ago. Give you a review on that. And we also got the RCWR world premiere of Alice in Chains' new song, Stone, from their upcoming album that's going to be coming out in May. The Devil Put Dinosaurs Here. That was a very interesting title of that. And Diamond, what you got planned for this weekend, buddy?
Definitely. So we got Ustream Radio Live this Saturday, and that's really it. And enjoying the holiday and really getting ready for this final countdown for WrestleMania.
I almost forgot it's Easter. Yeah, I definitely need to make sure I'm resting, man. And I'm usually working on a Sunday, just like figuring out ideas for the next show. But yeah, I definitely will be resting on Sunday. And I almost forgot. My God, for those of you that don't know, I'm going to be going to the WWE Raw event in Washington D.C. This coming Monday night. And I will be giving you guys live reports, live tweets, whole 9 yards, all throughout the night.
Oh, yeah.
So make sure you check out our Twitter handle at Infinity1Prod, also over at the RCWR Show. Follow us on Facebook at Infinity1 Productions. I'm feeling a little bit sleepy, folks. It happens sometimes. I'll fumble with my words, so forgive me. I'm feeling that old man's age. It's about that time. We're winding up, though. But yeah, check us out on Facebook, Infinity1 Productions. I'll be feeding you guys tweets and pictures, anything I can get, because I got some pretty good seats. And Diamond, the RCWR shirts, they finally arrived. Scale of 1 to 10, 7, 7.5. I'm happy. I think with the next batch, I'll finally nail it for you guys. You'll just have to be on the lookout for our shirts. I'll put the picture out there, and shirts will be available for purchase on our website next week. Once I have a better idea of when we'll start making it be available, I'll let you guys know. But look out as you're watching Raw. Look out for our shirts. Like I said, we got some pretty good seats, so it'll be me and the lovely co-producer Tammy that'll be tagging along with me. So you got 2 RCWR shirts that you'll have to spot. If you can spot them, take a picture and send it to us, and we'll actually give you a mad shout-out on the air. And that's going to do it. Hey, Be Kind Rewind. Any episodes you might have missed, download them. iTunes, Stitcher. Use the keywords, the RCWR Show. And we're also now on Spreaker. I just discovered it, over the weekend. It's pretty cool. Go check it out. There's actually some really great shows on there as well. But that's another way that you can access our great content. And that's going to do it for the one and only Diamond K. I'm the Black Avenger, Lee Sanders. If we don't hear from you guys respectively this weekend, you do have a safe and happy holiday, and be kind to one another. Good night, folks.